Alright, we're just going to go ahead and get started here because, I mean, it's not live or anything, so there's no reason for me to wait. Or, it isn't, the matches aren't live. But, hello to anyone who's here. I'm not watching the viewer count. This might just be the kind of thing people only watch the VOD, but hello to those who are going to be here. We are going to go ahead and jump into a replay cast. So, from what I understand, this match was a match that within Division C East had some pretty big playoff implications, as we are drawing towards the end of the NGS season. Only a few matches left for most teams to play until the end of the season, and that's really going to decide which teams get to go into the playoffs, since only 8 teams for each of the main divisions, and then in the smaller divisions only 4 teams, I believe it is, get to go into the playoffs. So I know that I believe so this match was one that had some big playoff implications. Unfortunately, it was not able to be picked up live. I was busy that evening, but I said, hey, I promise I'll cover this if it doesn't get picked up. So here I am. Our match today, not tonight. I'm so used to casting these at night, but it's not afternoon even. Our match is going to be Ban Cho against LuBu. So both teams that have done well in the past, Ban Cho of course being the Division D champions from last season, and LuBu returning to Division C East after struggling a little bit last season, but they've had some pretty big roster swaps. I think I only recognized 2 of the players playing for them during this series, so switching stuff up and looking to do their best to try and make sure that they're getting into the playoffs, as well as Ban Cho here. I'm not going to show standings or anything because that could potentially spoil it, since obviously the standings have been updated as far as the results of this match. I don't know the results. Luckily, our headcaster, Smiley, does a great job of making it so that if we're doing the replay cast, we don't have to be spoiled. But we can go ahead and start off by looking at the maps here. So LuBu was meant to be the right team, but looks like they're the left team, so I went and already swapped stuff over. They decided to ban out Sky Temple and Tomb of the Spider Queen, and Ban Cho decided to ban out Cursed Hollow and Dragonshire. The map that was selected was Infernal Shrines. Unfortunately, I'm not able to say, I don't know which team picked the map, or which team got first pick, but that is the map pick for this first map here. So we're going to go ahead and jump on into it in just a moment, but again, thank you all for joining. We're gonna jump into this. Let me just get the replay all set up here. Perfect. All right, and we can go ahead and make sure I get my hotkeys correct and jump in. All right, starting off on the left for LuBu, we're going to have Alan Hicks on the ETC Spoticus, on Imperious Bandit, on Gul'dan, VDZ playing Kerrigan. This is her strongest map, of course. And then Streakwing on Stukov. Against them, it's going to be Ban Cho. You've got Ronin playing the Sonya, Quinnell on Lunara, Shusui on Jaina, Skev13 on Johanna, and Blue Steen on Anduin. I know both of these teams have some comfort picks. I know Ban Cho definitely got some of them. I believe that, I mean, looking at the draft for the side of LuBu, that is a really scary draft, and I feel like I would definitely be a little bit scared. It's a very aggressive draft for sure. Imperious and Kerrigan looking to really get in the face, and already VDZ throwing out a combo onto the front line of Ban Cho, as Jaina's going to go ahead and get a little bit of stacking there on her Blizzard. We do see the Echoed Corruption at level 1 for Gul'dan, so he's going to be looking to try and stack that throughout this match, so watch for him to be doing that. But for the moment, looks like we're just going to see the exchange of these waves being cleared and the rotation down. Lunara did go into the Sentinel Wisp, so you can see this huge circular area of vision that is revealed. As a result, going to give lots of vision control to the side of Ban Cho, which will help a lot, maybe allow for some aggressive play or prevent aggressive play from the side of LuBu, as with Kerrigan you really want to try and get that early game momentum, really get in the enemy team's face early. That being said, Skev on the Johanna doing a good job of getting in the face of LuBu here, delaying their rotation into the middle lane. Kerrigan did manage to go and pick up the soak there, it looks like. But for the moment, both teams going to start on their cast. Bluestein going to get pulled in by Kerrigan and stunned, followed up by a power slide. Great job there from Alan Hicks. Bluestein getting very low, barely going to be able to get out though, and it looks like Kerrigan going to be the one to actually fall, as Ronin on Sonya did rotate in to help out, able to soak her wave and rotate down a bit quicker than Imperius, as while he is very strong in team fights, he is not known for his ability to clear waves. With that being said, neither team has picked up their camp yet. We're looking at an invade here. Ban Cho willing to give up a little bit of soak to steal away the enemy team's siege camp. It is going to be the top lane for this first objective, which will be a Mortar Punisher here. So one of the weaker ones in the early game, as it scales a lot harder than the others, but still it's a Punisher. We'll have to see how these teams play around it. Obviously, Kerrigan on the Shrine can get huge shielding with that level 1 Fury of the Swarm there, getting the cleave auto attacks, able to reset her Q charges and just completely dominate and clear that Shrine really quickly while having an insane amount of sustain. For the moment though, we're actually seeing the XP lead a little bit here for the side of Ban Cho, as Sonya, as I mentioned, has been able to out-rotate the Imperius here. Imperius, again, not great on the wave clear, and now Kerrigan again being tracked down. This is one of the strengths of Lunara, is that she is very strong into melee if she isn't getting dived, because of the fact that she is able to slow and just stay barely out of range of them. It looks like Ban Cho potentially going to try and just push in the bottom lane as VDZ goes for a combo, knowing that Stukup's there, but it's 4v2, and that's going to be Kerrigan falling once again here. Sorry for my dogs barking in the background. Give me a moment here. Just give me a moment. I'm sorry. Alright, I'm back. Very sorry about that. That is the struggle of having 3 dogs here in the middle of the day, is that they can get rowdy sometimes. But we're going to jump right back into it. That pick on Kerrigan is really big, and it looks like we aren't even going to see the Shrine started for the side of LuBu, so Ban Cho basically getting that camp and that kill for absolutely free. And now going to potentially start rotating up to the Shrine, and going to be able to get there before LuBu, is LuBu trying to just keep the soak up and get to level 7, as that talent tier would definitely ensure the Shrine here for Ban Cho, or at least ensure a favorable fight over the Shrine, as it is going to get started now. And LuBu actually going for their Bruiser camp, just trying to get a little bit more lane pressure, try and get a bit more XP to finish off this level 7 before they engage into Ban Cho over the Shrine. We are going to see the Subdue coming in for Johanna. That's going to be enabling her to really slow down the aggression from the front line of LuBu. But if VDZ is able to get a good combo, get a pick, they've already gotten really close twice against Bluestein on this Anduin. That could be really big for them. Gonna get the pull onto Johanna, and great follow-up by Alan Hicks, but the damage is not quite there as Gul'dan is trying to clear the Shrine, and now being forced back is LuBu, as Alan Hicks on the ETC gets very low, being chased down by Ronin, going to get finished off, but Kinal on the Lunara going to get finished off in response, and Skev also getting very low. Ronin pulled back into the silence, and now it is Ban Cho on the run, as Kerrigan trying to finish off some kills here. But taps will be there for Ban Cho. They're going to be able to fill up a little bit more and get back onto this Shrine, give it one last try here. Looking at Gul'dan's stacks, he's sitting at 22 already on the Echoed Corruption. Great job there from Bandit on that Gul'dan. Going to be able to complete that pretty early at this rate, which will be a huge boon for his team. Ronin going to get the save there from Bluestein, but a huge pull as well as the stab. The charge from Imperius is going to get 3 kills for LuBu and secure them this first Shrine. Quintal on the Lunar are going to go ahead and just catch some soak, try and keep their team alive in the XP game, because there's the only thing worse than losing an objective is losing an objective and then being a talent tier behind for the rest of the game. That being said, Spartacus is going to follow them, and now the Mortar Punisher is here, and it's going to be up to Ban Cho to try and defend this. Luckily, death timers are short, so they are going to be able to be there in time for said defense. But now, Ronin in the mid lane getting ganked by 3 members of LuBu here. Going to be able to use the Battle Rage there to heal themselves up a little bit, but I think it's just a matter of time until they fall here. And Imperius going to get the charge and finish off Sonya there. A nice, strong comeback here, as it looks like Ban Cho was going to run away with the early game here, but now LuBu approaching level 10s and looking very, very strong. Taking a look at stats here, Gul'dan is putting in an insane amount of poke, similar to Lunara here, but the finisher so far has been in favor of LuBu, as they have that Imperius, as they have that Kerrigan, who are able to CC and finish off those kills, as well as the Stukov with the silence, able to put on a clinic here so far in finishing off the members of Ban Cho. That being said, the healing powers of Anduin are only going to get stronger as this game goes on, so we'll have to see if Ban Cho is able to use that to come back a little bit, as they should have level 10s coming in here pretty soon, about a level behind though, as we do see the Mosh Pit, Ultralisk, Horrify, Angelic Armaments, and the Flailing Swipe coming in for LuBu. Gonna be a gank onto Spartacus in the top lane, a nice route from Bluestein. The Leaping Strike comes out, ooh, but Angelic Armaments going to keep him alive, or not. The dot is there, and it finishes Spartacus off. Wow. That is part of the strength of Lunara as well. The dot means stuff like Angelic Armaments will protect from a bit of the damage over time, but not all of it, as we're going to see Sonya currently holding her ult, but the rest going to be Light Bomb, Blessed Shield, Summon Water Elemental, and the Leaping Strike. Yeah, I thought Spartacus was alive too. But it looks like in the end it is going to be just a little bit of a comeback there for Ban Cho, still about 2/3 of a level behind, and not really going to gain too much over it, as for the moment Skev is just trying to stay alive, but a huge CC chain going to finish off Johanna. That is the thing, Johanna's shield is very strong as a tool, but it's not enough to save you from a 5-man gank there. Always have to be aware of the enemy team's positioning, as now this Kerrigan is popping off and they're able to execute on the burst and gank potential here. But once again, speaking of ganks, Spartacus on this Imperius is going to get ganked by 3 members of Ban Cho here. Gonna pop the Angelic Armaments, try and live this time, and they should be able to very easily there. And that's both charges of Leaping Strike used. Speaking of leaping, we have Leap coming in for Sonya, so potentially using that in combination with the Light Bomb. Gonna try and get a nice CC combo and aggressive engage, try and get some counter pressure of their own. Speaking of which, there it is. The Leaping Strike goes out. Quinault, you only have one of those. And Lunara goes down. And Imperius survives. So a bit of a miscalculation there, to say the least, from Ban Cho. We do have Prog Rock completed. That's a pretty big spike there for ETC, going to be able to heal up his teammates. And now down level 13 talents, it looks like Ban Cho just going to give over this shrine they really wanted to pick onto Imperius, but weren't quite able to complete it. We do have Fingers of Frost coming in for Jaina, which will be really helpful for them in future fights. I'm going to increase her trait damage there, but for the moment they've got to worry about this Arcane Punisher, which is about to be claimed by the side of LuBu. Level 13s will be in now, but looking at the stats, again, the burst has been more than enough here for LuBu. None of them really matching the damage of Lunara, but up 7 kills to 4 as a result of their ability to just get those quick kills with the percent damage from Spartacus and the huge burst from VDZ on that Kerrigan. Even going to look for an engage here, but it's going to be the leap as well as the light bomb onto multiple. Streakwing on this Stukov going to be the first to fall, but Shusui going to fall next on the Jaina. Kerrigan will follow with as the Mosh actually hits Johanna and Ronin, who were trying to interrupt it, but now it looks like Alan Hicks might be the next to fall here. He's going to maybe get away? Ooh, barely gets finished off by the shield glare there, and the Punisher will be picked up for LuBu, but it looks like Spartacus on the Imperius is not going to get away either, meaning that Bandit on Gul'dan will be the only survivor of this fight. That is the combination of a leap with a light bomb. Really any way to quickly get that light bomb into the middle of the enemy team can be very, very strong, and you saw why there, as Ban Cho able to even up the kill count here and finish it off. Meaning that this Punisher gonna get a front wall, but not much else. Again, the Arcane Punisher, definitely one of the better scaling Punishers. So during the early game, not quite as strong, and especially when you see that the enemy team is not able to push with it, not going to be able to get much. So really, all fountains up, all forts up. This is an even game. Once again, the only advantage that LuBu has here is that if they lose a Punisher, they will have the front wall on two of these, or well, wall on one of the forts, but turrets on two of the forts to prevent Ban Cho from quickly engaging when they try to bait that Punisher there. Ultralisk going to go out to try and just get a pick onto Jaina there, but barely going to miss, just a little bit out of range, and so both teams just going to kind of meander around the area. LuBu wants to do their camp, but they know that Ban Cho has been eyeing it as well. That being said, Ronin and Shusui going to rotate up to the top lane as level 16s come in just a bit earlier here for the side of Ban Cho. We do have Flash of Anger and Pathetic Mortals coming in here for Imperius, so a bit of a Celestial Charge build coming out. Didn't go for the cooldown reduction at level 1, instead opting for the burst, but that has worked out very well for them so far in these fights, being able to get early picks onto frontline members or onto the healer even, taking out some of the most important members for the team fight of Ban Cho here. And we do have the Ruinous Affliction now in for Gul'dan. That is a huge power spike in his damage. He's going to be able to put out a lot more burst if he's able to land those big corruptions. But for the moment, LuBu knows that Ban Cho was not nearby, so they were able to complete the takeout of this bottom fort here. Streakwing trying to use the disengage here with the Flailing Swipe, but not quite going to be enough, it looks like. That being said, Quinol hit by a huge combo and a fear. Unfortunately, Fear going to go in the wrong way and they will survive, but Kerrigan will not. Nice rotation in there, just a little bit too slow from the side of LuBu rotating out. But a kill for a fort isn't the worst trade in the game. They can't be too upset with what they were able to get there, as that is going to be pressure during this Frozen Punisher Shrine, which will be in the middle lane, closer to the top lane during the next objective. Bruiser Camp was already grabbed as well for Ban Cho, so it's going to be pushing up in this top lane. Imperius will be able to clear it slowly, but he is going to use the help of the rest of his team here to make sure that gets fully cleared out, and then they will be grabbing their Bruisers, which will definitely be able to take this fort. The front wall is nice and open here, so they will be able to take this fort if it isn't responded to by Ban Cho. But Ban Cho is trying to take a fort of their own here in the bottom lane, or at least the fountain, which will be finished off there by Quinol's dot on the Lunara. And they will get the fort as well, so a nice little push there, calling out the camp take from LuBu and able to even up the bottom lane, make sure that at least they're only being pressured in that top lane, which is a lot closer if they're able to take a quick team fight here. But the early Shrine lead already going over to LuBu, sitting at 8 out of the 40 they need, up to about 15 now. And Ban Cho needs to start making their way onto this if they want to take this fight here. It is even talent tiers. There's a tiny bit of a stats lead right now for Ban Cho, as they are level 18 versus 17. But that's not going to mean too much here, as we've got to watch these teams. Ultralisk going to go out onto Johanna Skep, going to pop the Unstoppable here, and the Light Bomb goes out onto them, and Gul'dan gets popped by the leap from Sonya. Looks like ETC might be the next two, as his Mosh was interrupted there. Quinol will fall on the Lunara, but it looks like Kerrigan will fall next, and Spartacus and Streakwing are just trying to get away. No, Spartacus going to try and go in even. Not going to pop the Angelic Armaments weapons there. But all in the meantime, this camp was able to take the fort in the top lane. So 3 kills and the Punisher for Ban Cho is definitely favorable, but they've got to make sure that they're getting stuff out of this. as the macro pressure is going to start building up here against them if they aren't able to even it up again, like they evened up that pressure in the bottom lane. Clearing a little bit slower than I actually would have expected here. I guess without Lunara, not able to have quite the sustained clear onto the shrine. Maybe also just trying to wait for Lunara to get back, but that has given time for the members of LuBu to respawn as well. And level 20s are not really close here for Ban Cho, so this will be an even talent tier defense unless a pick comes out for Ban Cho. So they're going to have to be looking for that as they quickly clear out the siege camp, which LuBu got there to try and help. Looks like the fort will just be seated, going to make sure that they're playing it safe and not giving the opportunity for a pick to the side of Ban Cho. So the Punisher will be stepping up to this keep with pretty much full health. You're going to get baited over by Alan Hicks, as you would expect, but this is a frozen Punisher, so it will shut down these structures with the frozen bombs that you see there, which will allow for a lot more aggressive play. That being said, the Punisher itself won't do much siege damage to this fort on its own, so Ban Cho needs to make sure that they're taking advantage of the lockdown, and they're going to do that by taking out ETC. Level 20s are in now for Ban Cho. We're going to see the Wintermute, the Glyph of Faith for the second pull, the Radiating Faith for Johanna and Sonya, and Lunara holding for the moment as the keep will fall to about half health. Looks like Sonya gonna focus on clearing up this top lane, and even with the kill disadvantage, it looks like LuBu is actually looking for the aggressive positioning. I am not sure about this. LuBu is down a person. They're down level 20s, but I guess they see multiple members of Ban Cho, so they're going to be able to get away with this invade here. A risky play, but it's going to pay off here, as we do have the intensifying toxin. That combined with unfair advantage is a ton of damage from Lunara, as Ronan going to be able to leap to avoid the gank there. And still holding on their level 20, maybe waiting to see what the level 20 options are going to be for the side of LuBu. I could not remember their name for the life of me for a second there. But that being said, siege camps have been picked up in the middle and bottom lane here for Ban Cho, so they are going to be able to get some passive pressure back out in the other lanes, and they're not going to really worry too much about the bruiser camp being taken in the top lane. That being said, it will allow for LuBu to have constant pressure in this lane during the next objective phase, which will be a Mortar Punisher. As I said, that Punisher does scale quite a bit into the late game. The Mortars will do a insane amount of damage to heroes if they aren't careful. So looks like we are going to have Ignore Pain coming in for Sonya, as the Mosh again interrupted and ETC chain CC'd, not able to do anything, but Jaina going to fall as well, and Quinol on the Lunara, about to die to Dot, so both of the DPS for Ban Cho are gone. That being said, both of the front line gone here for the side of LuBu. Kerrigan gonna finish off the kill on Anduin. It's a 2-for-3 trade so far, but Sonya is so bulky with that Ignore Pain. Ooh, gonna miss the spear though, and that's gonna be a 4-for-2 trade in favor of LuBu. I thought for sure they were going to lose that, given that they were in a choke against Wintermute and without the Mosh landing, but they were able to pull through. Kerrigan pulling out some crazy combos and going to take the first advantageous team fight here for them in a long time. And now, with the Shrine spawning with Sonya still 40 seconds off, this is going to be a nice early lead onto this Punisher for the side of LuBu, and this is the one lane where Ban Cho and LuBu are even, both pushed up to the keep front walls here. So we'll have to watch, because this is definitely still game-ending potential for LuBu, and they're trying to make sure that it is so. Gonna try and push in here, as it is only Johanna and Jaina for the moment. Lunara just now coming alive, so LuBu does need to be careful, because Johanna and Jaina will be able to pop someone if they aren't careful, but gonna get some damage onto the front wall. Just trying to make sure that they are enhancing this push as much as possible. Lunara currently holding the top hero damage for her team, with Sonya actually doing more than Sonya and Johanna actually doing more than Jaina so far. So Shusui putting out burst, which does mean that numbers aren't the best representatives, but struggling also a bit into this Kerrigan composition here with the Imperius. And Gul'dan currently carrying the numbers for the side of LuBu, even without that Echoed Corruption completed. Ooh, the blink, or no, that was not the blink, just a Kerrigan combo attempted, but Kerrigan's going to fall as she misses the combo, and now the leap and the light bomb, it's going to be 2 more kills. Oh, no, Bandit survives. A 4-man mosh pit, but nothing coming of it as Spartacus and Bandit not able to follow up, and so Imperius going to just try and run away from the Water Elemental, but a huge team fight win for Ban Cho, and now this is a game-ending potential with this Mortar Punisher going to be pushing down the bottom lane, as LuBu just trying to make sure that their mid lane is saved here, as catapults have been pushing in and slowly weakening this keep down to almost nothing. Looks like Ban Cho going to try and even play it safe here, get a double keep by taking both siege camps for the middle lane before grabbing the objective, even having Shusui on the Jaina back for mana. Just make sure that they're back to take care of the top lane, actually. Just make sure that they are covering all of their bases, not giving a LuBu an opening back into this game by holding the objective at 39. It will allow Kerrigan and Stukov to respawn, but that won't mean much if LuBu isn't able to secure this defense here. And it will be a rough one. Like I said, Mortar Punisher, very strong here, and there's also a lot of potential damage here from the side of Ban Cho. Have some great level 20s as far as the DPS side goes. I'm going to have to watch to see how LuBu tries to survive this here. The level 20s we saw from them were the Storm Shield, the Assimilation Blades, Haunt, as well as the Brand of Solarian and Controlled Chaos. So they do have some really strong 20s on their side as well, but they need to make sure that they're able to survive this push, as Camp and Kata is pushing in for the side of Ban Cho, gonna make this keep disappear. Shusui survives the combo of Kerrigan and gonna be able to get the cocoon off, but not able to survive. Okay, I was, oh, the Punisher doing so much damage with the mortars, the Blessed Shield coming up from Johanna perfectly, and that is going to be another following as ETC is taken out, and that is going to be game number 1 going over to Ban Cho. GG. Alright, so I know that there is not a there's no stat screen, so I'll go ahead and give you this instead. So Gul'dan put out a ton of work there, but wasn't able to complete Echoed Corruption until the very end of the game. And while the picks that they were able to get in the mid game did help them out a lot, I do think they maybe wanted to take more sustained fights with a Gul'dan. That's kind of the struggle I see, is Gul'dan and Kerrigan, they can work together, but I felt like more often than not they were anti-synergistic, and that fights went too quickly for Gul'dan to get too much value, or were anti-synergistic in that the Kerrigan combo and Horrify were not quite comboed perfectly there. That being said, it was a very close first map here. Could have gone either way, as we saw, and there's still 2 potential maps left, so give me just a moment and I'm going to go ahead and get the next map ready here. So we'll go ahead and bring the screen back to me. So the next map is going to be on Volskaya, so another very team fight focused map here. Hopefully we're going to see the same sides here, so I don't have to switch up my UI. Let me go ahead and get it loaded in. Replay casting always takes a while. Ooh, we got some spicy comps coming in. We got some Deathwing coming in, as well as a Tyrande. Recently changed. Whether or not it was a buff, I can't say. I know some people find it a buff, some people are not as happy about it. But that being said, if you'll give me just a moment, I will be right back. I need to take care of something, and then we will go ahead and jump into this next game here. here on Volskaya Foundry. Alright, and I am back. Sorry about that once again. Unfortunately, one of the struggles of the midday cast is the fact that I do have some interruptions happening. But let's go ahead and jump into it. Starting on the left for LuBu, we're going to have Alan Hicks on Johanna, Sukadin on the Tassadar. So switching up some members here. Streakwing on the Lucio, Spoticus playing Deathwing, and Bandit on the Vala here. So looking for some squishy backline with a huge front line to put out a ridiculous amount of damage here. Bandit, Sukadin, and Spoticus all with huge damage potential. But against them, going to be Ban Cho. You've got Ronin on Thrall, Quinol on li-ming, Shusui on Raynor, Skev on ETC, and Blue Steen on the Tyrande here. So some huge burst and reset potential for li-ming. Going to try and get the team fight wins, and dramatically so. Going to be ace in the hole at level 1 for Raynor, so looking for the extra PvP damage to help soften up some of the enemy heroes for that li-ming, as well as maybe make it a bit easier to take out the Deathwing there. We are going to see the static charge as well for Tassadar, so looking to land those Q hits, stack that up, and get some insane poke damage, which is another thing that li-ming can do as well, is get some big poke, as we're going to have the Lunar Blaze, of course, for Tyrande, as well as Echo of the Elements and Prog Rock, so all quests that you would expect from these heroes. But right now, the advantage in rotations heavily going out in favor of LuBu, so much so that Ban Cho just going to leave Shusui up in the top lane to soak on this Raynor. And it's going to be LuBu, the first to their camp here, and going to be able to take the turret almost before we see Ban Cho even starting it. Quinol getting there now, but a nice early start in this game for the side of LuBu here. A bit of a gank onto Spoticus. Of course, he is Deathwing, so it's not going to be easy to take him out, but gonna be able to just put a bit of pressure, as we do see the Dragon Soul at level 1 here, looking to get some healing based off of some of his abilities there, namely the Lava Burst and the Flame Breath. Shusui gonna be able to survive a gank attempt of LuBu's own here in the top lane, but even though he survived, that is gonna force out the Fountain, and it's going to get a little bit of damage onto this front wall, which every little bit counts, especially if you're able to get this first objective. Getting that damage on the front wall can allow you to really get a lot more value with your push. 4-man rotation's going to continue here for the side of LuBu, and putting even more aggression onto Shusui with that force wall. But that being said, Tassadar might have stayed a little bit too long, as the slide from Skev going to come out, but some a little bit of anti-synergy there, miscommunication, so Tassadar will get away just fine. We are going to see the electric fence at level 4 for him, so looking for additional slows and damage, really trying to lock people down. As for Vala, we have an auto attack build trying to take advantage of that extra lockdown. And of course the heat wave, so starting out with your typical melee early game here for the Deathwing, gonna try and get some value in the middle of the enemy team, which will help against this li-ming build, as we have Triumvirate trying to get long range orbs to get the sustained poke onto the enemy team here. We'll have to see how it works out though, as each team has gotten their siege camp, each team has gotten their turret. And neither team currently on the objective, as for the moment it's going to be LuBu pushing up in this top lane here. going to be pushed out pretty effectively here by the DPS and healer of Ban Cho. In the meantime, Skev has been soaking in this mid lane, going to be able to get out nice and easy with the power slide. But the first position on the objective will be taken by the side of LuBu, with Spartacus holding that spot while Ronin is trying to soak out the bottom lane, finish out his Echo of the Elements there. Which he did finish out already, actually. So, great job there from Ronin. That can be a little bit tricky to finish this early before the first objective, but able to do so very well. Now Alan Hicks getting a little bit of pressure put onto him by the side of Ban Cho, as LuBu picking up their second turret, going to be able to have that much more of an advantage in this first team fight, as they already have 61% on the objective here. Deathwing chilling in the bottom lane, still hasn't flown, so well, he's gonna fly now, so gonna try and get up his full 40 armor for this first objective, as we're gonna have Skev just stalling it out while his teammates grab their second turret. We do have Seeker coming in for Quinol on this li-ming. Gonna try and get as much burst onto Deathwing as possible, as a little bit of anti-synergy with the Force Wall. Spartacus is going to take a whole bunch of damage, try and jump back in, but the Seeker is putting in work. You can hear it proccing there, and Spartacus is already super low. So anti-synergy there, unfortunate from the side of LuBu, but able to neutralize the point, and now Ronin on the Thrall is looking a little bit overextended. He's going to be getting very low as well. Bluestein also low, but no kills secured for either side. li-ming's poke is putting in insane work though. Fountain's just going to get tapped from both sides here, but almost complete on the objective from the side of Ban Cho. So Alan Hicks going to force on this Johanna. Ronin gets split off from the rest of the team, but a nice power slide isolates Suikoden, and he's going to get very low. Going to be able to escape to the side for the moment, but Alan Hicks also low, and that's going to be the first reset for li-ming onto Tassadar. Looking for another on Lucio here, as he is going to fall very low. Deathwing flies in though, and that should be Bluestein falling, as well as Johanna. Both teams so low here. Spartacus on this Deathwing though is such an imposing presence, as that is going to be ETC falling, and a staggered death at that. Going to allow for LuBu to take control of the point, and Shusui using the adrenaline rush, but gonna get quite low. All members really of both teams here very low, but Tassadar and Johanna are back for LuBu, with Shusui and Quinol dangerously low. The RNG will decide that Rainer's fate is sealed, as the Hungering Arrow will follow him and finish him off. That should be the first objective finally going over to the side of LuBu. Level 10s will come in for them as we see that happen. Blessed Shield, Bellowing Roar, Sound Barrier, Black Hole, so looking for some blow-up Wombo potential here with that Black Hole. And Vala currently holding, as we see a bit of a hybrid build actually, going for the Repeating Arrow for the increased burst there with the double Hungering Arrow. As you would expect, the Protector is going to focus onto this Fountain here, but with the Hunter's Mark from Tyrande, as well as the Seeker, they're going to be able to take this Punisher, or this Protector down so quickly, already dropping it to pretty much nothing, but the damage has been done. The front wall and the Fountain are gone on the side of Ban Cho. So that is going to be a objective secured, or an advantage for the next objective secured for the side of LuBu here. Vala still holding her ult, as we see Earthquake, Shadowstalk, Hyperion, Mosh Pit, and Disintegrate coming in for the side of Ban Cho. So again, looking for the poke and just long range kills for Quinol on the li-ming, not wanting to risk going in with Calamity or trying to get the value. Ooh, a huge wall goes out onto Rainer that will finish him off, as he was pulled in by the towers, and Tyrande going to be the next to fall, but we did see Tass fall in response, so it's only a 2-for-1, but still LuBu doing well, turning around these gank attempts from the side of Ban Cho to their advantage here. Deathwing's ult did go out there, but it's a relatively short cooldown, will be up again in just over a minute here, as the healing beacon will be secured for LuBu. Ronin just trying to soak and keep his team in this game. Gonna move on to the turret, and really, all things considered, it is still a very, very close game. There is going to be that small advantage in the item and in the fountain for LuBu, but not too much damage thanks to the good defense from the side of Ban Cho. So it'll be interesting to see. There's definitely a large advantage, I would say, in sustain for the side of LuBu on this next objective. The healing camp isn't able to heal Deathwing though, so that is worth noting. He will only have the fountain as his healing option. Ooh, and a gank onto Tassadar successful this time in the mid lane. Gonna get a nice kill there for the side of Ban Cho. We did see turrets picked up from both sides, as well as the siege camp from LuBu, but that's gonna go ahead and get cleared out easily now by the side of Ban Cho, as they were able to get that pick. Gonna go ahead and just blow that up as level 13s come in for both sides. We have the Oracle looking for the spell armor against the li-ming, as well as Blessed Hammer, so some close-in burst as well as some vision control. Tempered by Discipline coming in for Vala, so continuing with a bit of an auto attack build. And now going into Ruination for Deathwing. So interesting talent, haven't seen this too much. It does it allows you to use Earth Shatter a whole lot more in that World Breaker form, but I imagine the reason he's using it is going to be for the bite and slow increase for the Destroyer form there. Slowing by 60% is a huge, huge amount, especially onto some of the squishier members of Ban Cho, such as this Glass Cannon li-ming. Interesting choice there from Quinnell, but we'll have to see if they're able to pull it out. See, we have Skev in chat. You'll have to. So here for the quinoa plays. So is it Quinol or is it Quinnell? Because I never know. Yeah, I kind of just swap back and forth depending on the day. So you'll have to let me know how that is pronounced. But for the moment, we're going to be looking at this objective as we have even talents. Deathwing trying to just keep some soak up for his team, but maybe even walking up to the top lane, wanting to keep his flight available for when he needs to heal up, and going to come up early as Ban Cho looking to soak 16s, it looks like, before taking this fight. And I think that's pretty wise. If you're able to get the talent advantage, you can take a favorable fight, which is definitely what they need as they are down the items and the fountain for this particular objective. Worth noting, we do have the face smelt here for the side of ETC, so looking for the slow. Skev says we don't know either. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. So healing beacon actually picked up here for the side of Ban Cho. That's a really big pickup because that evens up the that evens it up a whole lot more. And we're also going to see level 16s coming in now for the side of Ban Cho. So going to be able to briefly force LuBu back as they wait for their own 16s to come in. And we've got some big power spikes for both sides. We've got Mirror Ball, we've got Paint Them Red, very strong for the DPS, as well as aggressive shredding for ETC. So really strong talents here, but also we're looking at a team fight. I'm not going to be able to talk about talents as both teams dropping all their ults, pressing all their buttons, and Ronin not going to be falling just yet as he does pop the Earthquake, but will eventually, as well as the ETC and Raynor showing off what Black Hole can do there. Great combo there from Suikoden, able to burst through the backline of Ban Cho. Even though Raynor is generally considered one of the bulkier backliners. And the Flame Breath gonna finish off Tyrande over the wall. LuBu gonna get this second objective now, and with 4 kills, they've secured a level lead, and they're gonna be able to start pushing in this top lane, take a fort, and we'll see. Looks like they're going to just go for the classic play, maybe try and get mid fort as well before they get the bottom fountain. You do sometimes see with a large advantage the attempt for something like a play onto the keep, but it is very rare. It is very hard to get a keep with the second protector unless you do have a large advantage like a talent tier or wiping the enemy team. Something like that is generally needed to be able to try for that kind of play. I think I've only been able to do it once in my many games on this map. So it is going to be this play for LuBu, but they should be able to easily take all of the forts here on the map, as the defense will come out for Ban Cho, so they won't lose any keeps, but having all your forts gone is a massive blow, and this game, which had been looking so even, is now looking a lot more in LuBu's favor, taking the 9-4 kill lead, a level lead, and all of the forts down means that there's no retreat options, and there's some passive XP and push in favor of LuBu. Taking a look at the options we have here as far as the damage goes, li-ming has been putting in the most for their team, able to put out so much poke but not able to finish any kills, largely I think thanks to the huge front line that we have on the side of LuBu. Really hard to get the blowups onto the back line when you've got a Johanna and a Deathwing in front of them. And so we're seeing actually Deathwing with the highest damage for the opposing team, putting in a lot of work with that melee build, just really disrupting the teamfight plans of Ban Cho. That being said, a bit of a gank onto the dragon here. We're going to see the Hunter's Mark coming out, going to reduce his armor briefly, but he will be able to fly out, and in the meantime there was a gank onto Thrall in the bottom lane, and he did fall. Another pick for the side of LuBu, and that should secure them this healing camp if they want it, and it looks like they do, as they're going to go ahead and start rotating up. Ban Cho going to wisely back off. They don't want to give even more of a level advantage, as looking at the stats right now, there will definitely be level 20 for LuBu over the next objective, but whether or not Ban Cho will be able to achieve it is up to... it's unknown. And that is definitely something that they want to be able to get, as defending this objective down level 20s, or trying to fight it without level 20s is very difficult. So we'll have to see how they're able to do, as for the moment level 20s are in for the side of LuBu. We have the Radiating Faith, Rancor, Force Barrier, and House Party. Deathwing currently holding, but is going to go for the 50% or 40% slow and 50% duration increase on the ult, was stood in the fire. Personally, my favorite of his level 20 talents is it is so disruptive against the enemy team during those team fights. We are going to see some aggressive play here from the side of LuBu, looking for a fight as they have a level 20 advantage, but Ban Cho not willing to give it to them, just going to play it safe and sit nice and far behind their back in front of their towers. Looks like they should definitely be able to get level 20s here for the objective, but need to be careful as Alan Hicks rotates in. Ronan gonna be caught out a bit, mounting up, trying to run away, but I don't think there's any way he escapes. That's gonna be Thrall falling, and at the worst possible time, as the objective is just now spawning. I gotta say, I think he could have maybe run away to the right there, but I understand the fear. I don't know that he was getting away either way, as we do have the Blessed Shield, of course, for Johanna on a shorter cooldown than Death Timers at this current point in the game. So it's just going to be up to Ban Cho to try and get Thrall back and get themselves a chance to fight for this last Protector. It's going to be a huge item advantage for the side of LuBu here, with 4 items at the moment against Ban Cho, who currently have 1. So definitely going to be a risky fight, but level 20s are in, which means we do have some really strong tools potentially coming in here for the side of Ban Cho. And seeing Spoticus just now coming down in the top lane, it looks like they're going to rotate in. Thrall has respawned, or will respawn, sorry, in a few moments, and we do have the Earthen Shield's huge survivability spike, as well as Talrash's Elements, Death Metal, Weak Spot acquired, and Tyrande currently holding. I would expect, I believe it's a Shooting Star for the extra stuns there, but we'll have to see what they end up going for here. It's actually going to be the Ice Blade Arrows, looking for some basic attack, speed, and damage reduction. As Skev goes in for the Mosh, isn't going to be able to get it, but it doesn't matter because the kill is already there onto Tassadar, and now the team fight is underway. Li-Ming will fall, so no more resets for the side of Ban Cho, but it looks like Vala will fall against the Tyrande. We've got a healer battle going on in the top left. Tyrande versus Lucio. I think Tyrande probably wins that, and she is so far. But Streakwing going to be able to get away just barely as Ban Cho finally wins a fight. And again, it's over this late and important Protector here. We'll have to see if they're able to close out the game, though, or if they're able to at least even it up, as for the moment, LuBu still has all of their forts. Looks like we are going to see LuBu going ahead and just taking their siege camp, as Ban Cho going to try and prep the lane by pushing in as much as they can before the Protector gets here, trying to get as much value from the Protector as a result. Spartacus gonna land but immediately get his armor destroyed thanks to that Hunter's Mark from Tyrande, falling down to half and having to use his tap. He can breathe his fire, but he won't be able to do that much really against this push here, and that will be the first fort going down for the side of Ban Cho. We do see the healing beacon being snuck in here by LuBu as the Protector is picked up by Ban Cho. Man, and the health on this thing is enormous now. Over 30,000 health on the Protector. That is a lot for Vala to go through. She does have the Manticore though, which will help a lot. Percent damage is of course capped against... it does have a cap, so you can't quite do 5% every third auto against the Protector. But you will be doing a lot of damage regardless here. And we're going to have to see how Ban Cho chooses to act. It looks like they want the keep rather than going for the 3 forts play to even up. So we'll have to see if they're able to get that. It looks like they definitely should, as Seeker, as well as this Protector and the Hyperion, means they have an insane amount of siege pressure. They have to respect the fact that the enemy team can definitely dive past the Protector though. And that's why you see Shusui and Quinol playing so far back here for the moment. Protector will step up to the keep, get some nice damage onto Bandit on the Vala, but Deathwing is going to land behind. And looks like maybe the keep will not be falling here, as it's about 2/5 right now. But Deathwing flying in, trying to secure a little bit of slow onto the enemy team, as a huge Blessed Shield as well as a Black Hole is going to go out. Earthquake is there, but ETC will be the first to fall, but there's a Death Mosh that's going to catch 3, and that will be the first kill onto Lucio, second onto Vala, and now Alan Hicks and Spartacus both very low. Both will fall to the Disintegrate, and that is a 4-for-1 trade in favor of Ban Cho, and they can end the game. If Tassadar isn't able to pull out something fancy here. Huge turnaround with the Dash Mosh. I gotta say, I feel like this map is the map where it always happens, getting so much value. And now it is going to be Ban Cho pushing onto the core. They don't have their main tank, but they have the healer. And it's up to just Tassadar to try and defend against this Rainer and this Seeker Li-Ming, which are both able to put out so much siege damage onto this core. Bluestein just trying to stay alive, help keep their team alive, as the core trying to protect itself, but it will not be able to. This is going to be game 2, going over to Ban Cho, so they will take the win. GG. Alright. So, Ban Cho able to make it a 2-0. Both games were incredibly close. Those were... that felt like a series that should not have been a 2-0. That felt like that series should have been... it could have been a 2-1, I think, in either direction. Heck, LuBu, in Game 1, were able to almost come back at the very end, only losing thanks to one last team fight. And the same happened here. It looks like I think if those last team fights had gone the other way, we could have seen a 2-0 here even in favor of LuBu, but in the end we did see Ban Cho coming out on top, so kudos to them. Excellent series here, and that's going to be it for me. It is replay cast, so not that much to add, but thanks to everyone who came out. I'm going to go ahead and of course I'll post it to YouTube so that people can view it and all that. Please feel free to give any feedback on the cast that you have. I believe the command is !feedback, so feel free to do that. It would be very appreciated. I hope you all enjoyed. I'm going to go ahead and head out. I'll catch you all another time. See you.